नमस्कार एंड वेलकम टू सत्तोलॉजी चैनल। तो
नमस्कार।
आज मैं आदि और शरद शो में हम आपको कंपैरिजन कर रहे हैं महाभारत के समय में ह्यूमन राइट्स के स्टैंडर्ड्स और जिनेवा वॉर कन्वेंशन दोनों के बीच में। तो ये जो टॉपिक है इस पे सबसे पहले मैं जिनेवा के कन्वेंशन के बारे में बताएंगे कि जिनेवा कन्वेंशन जो है इट बिकेम पॉपुलर of during World War II and after World War II. There was a need to put some restrictions and so a lot of numbers and things you can get it from Wikipedia. You will see that. But here we'll say that what are the key tenets of Geneva Convention. Number one is we have to keep the prisoners of war (POWs) as per one minimum defined standards based on the international law. And number two is the critically sick prisoners need to be treated in a certain way. Third is the captured soldiers or people who are in the official roles of the state, assuming that the state was not rogue, have to be treated as per a certain minimum standards. Okay, and then we'll compare it with the Mahabharata standard. Sharadji, can you?
Yes. So I think viewers, we did record something yesterday on the Geneva standard and also the human rights issues which has been raised in context to Kashmir and India and especially most of the developing world. They always have to face a ministry type of group giving a moral lesson on human rights, which they see as human rights. Even though we had discussed that as late as 70, the women and all these so-called great human rights countries that had even a voting right. So going forward, how can our ancient knowledge or scripture be researched to see that what was our ancestor thinking in context of a human right type of issue? Is it something very Western? Is it something very foreign, which came, or did we have the knowledge in past? And Aditya is a Mahabharata scholar and who has a deep study on Mahabharata and Gita, and he will be educating all of us on the standards which we had in Mahabharata time. So Aditya ji, in Mahabharata time during war, I remember reading that after Sandhya Ka evening, the war was stopped, and there were few hours given where kith and kin, family members, women, whoever lost their soldiers, they could go to the battlefield and bring the body back or whatever, right? Do all the puja, perform all those things. So that was allowed. The second thing was even Yudhishthir or Suyodhan could walk into each other's camp in the evening for an evening. There was no chai at that time, I think chai, but at least somras or some juice or some water. Meaning they were friendly, they could go and meet because the game is over. It's just like a cricket when the match is once umpire calls stumps, both captains can go and meet each other. Something similar, Mahabharata, we read about it. Now, what do you say? Like in today's war, when we see the body of Indian soldiers being mutilated, even head is cut, organs are cut, so brutal, right? It is what's happening, and it happens both ways. So, what do you have to say on that?
So, number one is Geneva Convention has failed today completely because there are a lot of non-state actors funded by the Islamic terrorism, and where they fight unconventional war. And in Mahabharata times, when you fight an unconventional war, the regular conventions of the war didn't apply. So if somebody fights an unconventional war, then he needs to be treated correspondingly exactly as per their unconventional status. So if somebody attacks in the night, then the corresponding counter attack has to be done in the night. This is a Mahabharata law of reciprocity. Now coming back to Mahabharata itself, Mahabharata was a very civilized war in a way because they were even though they had deep animosity between the two factions, But at the end of the day, there was a deep sense of respect and civility for each other. And so they had agreed to, first of all, cremations did not happen until the entire war was over. So the bodies were left on the field.
Real?
Yes, it was done after the war was over.
18 days the body was left to rot.
They used to preserve it, embalm it wherever they possible using
But
lime.
they would have to remove from Kurukshetra, right?
No, they used
How
to
will
select.
the chariot to then go?
Yeah, they had to remove it on the whatever they must have done, but a different field was chosen if the killing was too much. So not exactly on the same field. The war would continue. They would respect that soldier, embalm the body, preserve the body right there, and move on. They had a huge team which was doing that. Because in Stri Parva of Mahabharata, we see the mass cremations happen. And the mass cremations were done directly by Maharaj Yudhishthira. So he would go across on his chariot to the entire battlefield where all the people were killed, and he personally paid his tributes to each of the family members, including the men. And there is another instance in the Stri Parva where Vyasdev mentions that the bodies be collected afterwards for proper cremations by the state. So every soldier that died on the field of Mahabharata was given a state honor. So it was not just left with there. Now there were some other rules of engagement they had. One was reciprocity of weapons used. So if somebody was using a particular type of weapon, the opposing warrior can counteract with a powerful weapon, but it should be in the same category. So different astras had a different category, shastra has a different category. So the difference between astra and shastra is that shastra is used in hand, and astra can leave the hand.
Okay.
So that's the
Missiles and
yeah. So that's the difference. And they were also yantra to be used. Yantra means guns, and people may find it shocking because most of us have been fed the Western portion that the guns didn't exist.
you mean to say the foot soldier cannot kill a person sitting on the elephant because the elephant guy has a different astra, so that mapping has to be 1:1, or
If anyone
anybody
attacks, now human beings can act on their emotions. If there is an attack, so normally they will not initiate a fight, but if somebody attacks, then the response is immediately.
So one thing very interesting that so during the first day of war, I'm not sure if you read it or maybe you need some further research, is who sets all the game? Like in the match, there is a referee. In a sports, there's a referee. Right? They will go with the rules, and people are aware of the rules of the game, whichever game they play. So in the Mahabharata, with all these type of complication, was there is no
Bhishma Dev supervised the rules.
so somebody has to
Bhishma
have
Dev
a
set the
war
rules.
doctrine and all these things. Right?
Bhishma set the rules for everything because he was respected by both the parties. He was the one who said, but there was a whole committee because the armies were huge on both sides. They were all finer details. And in Mahabharata, usually it is only mentioned the leaders fighting. But if you look at in the details of Mahabharata, then the other leaders are also mentioned. Usually there were categories of Atirathi, Maharathi, Dasharathi. Dasharathi is a title. And then, so these all titles, it was corresponding match was done. Therefore, it was selected. Now, Shakuni will fight with Nakul. And then this will fight with that. So that's how it was decided.
Okay.
And individual warriors can also take a vow.
So
now, contrasting this, yeah.
So coming to the Geneva Standard and Mahabharata, which we were talking, we know that our American presidential candidate John McCain, he was a POW, but in Vietnam, right? And then he came back, and then he ran for the office, and he really went very high in the political spectrum. So Vietnamese did follow the Geneva Convention, but in the case of Pakistan and India, we don't see there are a lot of people who have died in Pakistan. Sarojit's case is one. There are a lot of right now is Mr. Jadhav, who even though after winning ICJ is still lying in Pakistani jail. Even though there is no direct war, he may not be a prisoner of war, but again, there is an indirect war which is going on since 70 years for the formation of. So, how did in Mahabharata they treated such enemies. Like when Mahabharata happened, the war was decided, right? Krishna went to negotiate and it failed, and then war started 80, 90 days, 80 days, whatever. But there would have been a lot of enemies nation with. So did they had continuous interaction with them, or
Yes, yes.
what
There
was
were
the?
there were incidents of Anarthadesh constantly acting against Maharaj Yudhishthira. So Anarthadesh is probably near Iran now.
Okay.
The Iran is called, and Arjun had to completely vanquish it. Now comparing what the situation of Pakistan with India, so it's a religion-inspired violence against India. Now the only option that Mahabharata advises the Indian leaders is that go and finish it militarily, because and it's a Narad Muni's instruction to Yudhishthir. When Narad says that do you constantly attack your enemies and destroy them before they become too powerful? And I think that's what applies. And instead of trying to bleed India 1,000 cuts, it's time for Hindus to also have some pride in their faith and culture. And if it's a religion-inspired war, let there be a religious war. So it's a whatever the aggressor's mindset is, that's how the defender has to be. So defender has to put himself in the shoes of the aggressor and use the same tactics to finish it. And if it was Mahabharata time and Pakistan or another Desh was behaving like this, then it's a duty of Arjun to finish it off, and he did it. There was no one left after the war. So
Okay, so no mercy for the enemy, and that's what the entire Gita is, where Arjun, even though he was confused, Krishna said that no mercy or no war, defeat that you have to do your task, and whoever he is, and you have to win. So Karna was killed, and Bhishma was killed. So in spite of all the reservation Arjun may have. For not killing them, but that was coming from Krishna. So in India-Pakistan case, don't call us a warmongers, but again, if you don't want your army to be treated that badly, or if you don't want continuous bleeding, the time has come and there has to be a surgical operation. Now, whether the tumor will come out or not even the best doctor in the world can say. But if you have a tumor in your brain, what you do? Do you eat a painkiller, or do you cut the tumor out?
So one final word will have on this. Thank you, Sharji. The Mahabharata war was mostly dharmic war to install dharma-based kingdom, and that's what Maharaj Yudhishthira stood for. And there is a need for that today also. That the people who follow dharma, they need the rule of law. Dharma means a rule of law, and to establish dharma, we have to remove adharma. So the anarchists are usually on the side of adharma, and I leave it up to the viewers who are the anarchists today. And to removing the anarchists is the only solution for having a lasting peace.
So, but again, coming back to the topic, we were talking which I think. Which was regarding the Geneva Convention and all those things, human rights. Now, one other thing for which world's strongest democracy, America, was criticized during Iraq War was waterboarding. Now, if you capture people a single individual will harm, say, hundreds more people, is waterboarding or a 3D, third degree kind of a treatment to get the information to stop more killing, massacre, was justified during Mahabharata time? What does Mahabharata say about it?
So one of the thing is sometimes torture is needed. It's a war situation to take out information from the spies. It's needed because spies are well trained spies are well trained for forbearance on torture. Now, so there are ways to extract that information. Now, when the war is happening, I am, what we when a war is happening, it's a duty of the state to protect the virtues of the state. But if there is no state and you're dealing with a bunch of people who are almost like criminals, who have raped thousands of people, like what happened to Yazidis. Now, these people are criminals. You don't deal with them with the state of law. So no Geneva Convention should apply to them. They should be dealt according to a criminal based on the law of the army which is fighting them. So if the Indian army is fighting the terrorists, Islamic terrorists against Yazidis, then the Indian law is what they are going to use. So that becomes Geneva Convention. Because these states, like Pakistani supported Jaish-e-Mohammed, have no state. Pakistan disowns them. So India cannot apply Geneva Convention to them. India has to apply Indian Criminal Penal Code to take care of them. So if the punishment for a rape is hanging, that's what applies to them. So it's I leave it to the legal experts, but Mahabharata time would have viewed it that way. So if depending on the state of where the residence of that person, the laws are always applied of the victor.
So thank you, viewers. With that, we will continue talking more on this type of issue. And please subscribe to Sattology. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and also on the portal, Sattology.com. So please subscribe and spread this channel to your friends and family members. And we will be bringing new videos for you.
Do follow us on Patreon also. So become a member of Sattology family.
Thank you.
Be a Sattologist, always a Sattologist. Thank you.